Shabbat Shalom from Temple Concord. This week our Torah portion has a fragment of a prayer that we hear each year on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. That prayer it's actually also mentioned in a number of other holidays, and it's Adonai Adonai El Rachum V'Chanun Erech Apayim V'Rav Chesed V'Emet. God who is merciful and kind and who shows kindness on to the 1000th generation. This week it's a shortened version, and it talks about God who is slow to anger and quick to forgive, but it also talks about how God will remember the sins to the 3rd or the 4th generation. And that reminder of God being capable of good and bad and being slow to anger is a wonderful reminder for us, because after all, we're created in God's image. And if we are to nurture that divine spark, we have to recognize that we too can be slow to anger if we wish to be, or we train ourselves to be, but we can also be jealous and difficult. And so we have a choice to make in terms of how we act and how we interact. Do we want to carry on grudges to the 3rd and the 4th generation, as it were, or do we want to show mercy and loving kindness? It's a tough challenge, particularly when the person who is in front of us isn't one who is exactly the most loving soul in the world. But we all face those situations every day. And so I think the Torah portion's reminder is nurture that little spark of godliness in you and aim for what God aims for, to find the loving kindness, to find the mercy, to find the sense of being willing to look past and look beyond and find the good, rather than dwelling on the bad thing or the mistake. Because in reality, if the dwelling on the mistake is what happens, every one of us is going to have a hard time, because we all make mistakes. The Lord only knows I've made my share, and everybody else does too. The question is, do we want to focus on our own mistakes, or do we want to see beyond? And I think the challenge for us in this week's Torah portion is to see beyond, to see what's possible, and in that sense, to be more godlike. I hope you'll join us for services Friday evening. Services are at 6 o'clock Friday night. Saturday morning services are at 11, of course preceded by Torah study at 10. Next Shabbat we begin our summer series, so next Friday evening we will be out at Onondaga Lake Park. It'll be July 5th, but we'll be celebrating a little bit of the day before, the 4th of July, with a little bit of Americana at that service. And the following Saturday, July 6th, we'll celebrate the Bat Mitzvah of Olivia Smolin. For now, I hope you've gotten all the communications from the temple, and I hope you'll be part of our series of town hall meetings that are going on. And I hope you'll nurture that little spark of God in you. And when you find somebody who's frustrating or being difficult, you'll decide that instead you want to find loving kindness, either in your soul or in that other person's, and reach for that and nurture that. If we all do that, then our world will get a little bit better moment by moment, and we'll get closer to the promised land. Shabbat Shalom for now. Look forward to seeing you in the temple.